Hey guys, did you see that? Hey, thanks for joining me today. We've got another short, pretty simple install to do. We're going to be putting on a vented trans cover for the Milwaukee-Eights. The fine folks from Nice CNC trusted me again with their products, and I appreciate that, Nice CNC. But this is just not any vented trans cover. I don't know if you saw it when I pulled away, but dual layer carbon fiber vented machined aluminum trans cover for these Milwaukee-Eights. Let's get over to the workbench and we'll go through what comes in the kit. Come with me, roll the intro. All right guys, well we have made it over here to the workbench and I wanted to go through the parts that come in the kit, okay? And then the tools that I deem necessary for the installation. Right off the bat, let's take a look at this extremely nice dual layer carbon fiber cover that Nice CNC has come up with. So as I flip to the underside, this is the transmission area, okay? And this is the crankcase area. As you notice, it does have the one-way check ball in it, allows the pressure out through here, but does not allow any air to be pulled back in. So this is an excellent piece. This is the little trans vent, the little rubber hose you'll see on your factory cover. You'll just remove that and reinsert it here. But just take a look at that. Look at the attention to detail, how smooth this is, how nice the carbon fiber is. I'm telling you, you won't find another one nicer than that on the market. Of course, it comes with the gasket, obviously. Nice thick gasket. Very nice. All right, we'll come with a length of hose. I've already cut this one. The other piece is about so long, but I've cut this because I know exactly where I'm gonna put it. It comes with the little filter. It's a washable, reusable filter. It gives you the option of mounting it here, directly on top of the cover, or simply with adding this and this, you can then remote mount it, into a hidden spot if you don't want to see this. So they give you that option, which is really cool. Of course, you got some clamps that you will use, and then you ask yourself, what are these little washers, these little thick spacers for? Well, this is the attention to detail that Nice CNC does. So because this is a dual layer carbon fiber cover, okay, that is made onto the machined aluminum piece, when you're tightening down the factory bolt, you do not want to tighten directly onto this. So you will use these 6 washers that come in the kit, and they directly fit into that little recessed area. So 6 of them, and then you will reuse your factory bolt. So nothing is left out of the plan. They do a very good job at this. Tools that I deem to be needed. Obviously, 3/16 Allen wrench. Okay, it is very close on the, I'm gonna call it the left front and middle front Allen bolts for this cover. So that would actually be, I think these 3 here, or these 2 here on the factory are the cylinder it comes like this, so it's very tight to get in here. I have a little 3/16 ratcheting tool, which is very handy to have. So I will use that on the other 4. Obviously, blue Loctite. We'll go back on the bolts. Pair of pliers, flathead, and a Phillips. And then when I remove the factory bolts, I'm sure they will have Loctite on them. I will use this to clean up those threads. And then of course a couple rags just to wipe up and clean up, keep everything clean. So folks, that is what is needed. It's really tools that you've probably got in your toolbox. Do not let this kind of overwhelm you that, oh my gosh, I'm opening up the crankcase. You are on the top side, but keep it clean, keep it simple. So at this point, let's get over to the bike. I will disclose I've already loosened up the original bolts just for time's sake. You don't need to see me unbolting 6 bolts. So we'll get over there and get those taken out, and then we will get things moved back over. All right, let's go. All right, so we are down here, as I mentioned. So here's our factory cover, okay? It does have the 6 bolts that are around here, and as I mentioned earlier too, that I went ahead and loosened these up, and see if I can, just for this time's sake. So I'll pull these up. Yep, they do have Loctite on them. You can see that the Loctite, yep. Okay. So these back 3 are very simple to get off. And even this far one over here is easy to get to. So I was able to use this tool, all right, on this one, and this one, and actually on that far one over there. I then used my 3/16 Allen like this here, as you can see, okay, and was able to get those loose. Okay, so there's number 5, and then the center one. And that factory Loctite is pretty substantial, so they'll feel very tight. But the torque setting on these little bolts when you're going back in with them, and again, you're not going to be able to get a torque wrench in here, so you just got to remember about how hard you felt it come out. 7 to 9, I think, foot-pounds, and I will put those actual torque settings, if you want them, I'll put them up on the screen. You'll see them pop up here in just a little bit when we're back at the workbench. But we'll take these bolts over, all right, and we'll get them cleaned up. And we'll lift this up. Again, very careful. All right, so here's the factory one. Again, this is plastic. It's a hard plastic. All right. As you can see, this is the transmission side, and this is the transmission side. But this one here is the cover for the engine, which is this far side over here. There's no venting here, okay? Harley's remedy for venting the crankcase was venting it through the air cleaner, mainly for emission reasons too. But if you have done any kind of research, you know that venting into the intake, if you've ever taken your air filter off, you'll see oily residue. That oil mist is getting sucked into the engine, into your cylinders, and putting carbon deposits all up on top of your pistons, and that's going to cause issues down the road. I promise you. It's a known fact. So anyway, we will wipe up this surface with our rag. We'll get over to the workbench, and we're going to remove this piece, this little rubber piece, which will mean pulling this gasket out, and we'll put it onto the new one. So let's get over there and do that, and we'll meet you at the bench. All right, we're back at the bench, and so first order of business is we will be removing this little gasket here. Actually, use one of these bolts. Just pop this up enough to get your finger under it. Okay, pull this out. It's a rubber gasket. Okay, we're going to set that to the side. All right, so as you see, here is the back side of this little vent. So we're going to try to work that out. Some good little tugging on it, it'll come on out. There it comes. Okay, so there's that. So we are done with that factory case. All right, we're going to then flip the nice CNC cover over, reinsert this, and if you'll notice there's a little small lip on that seal, and we'll push and pull, and you'll feel it suck in, and there it goes, as you can see. Okay, that is in. Okay. So that's nice. Okay, now we'll take the gasket and make sure this is all clean. Okay, we're going to put the gasket here, and we're going to go back over to the bike. We'll easily put this down, and we'll start bolting it back down. But first, what we're going to do Okay, and we'll run this on the, we'll run these through the wire brush that I mentioned earlier. We'll knock off the, okay, we'll speed through this. Knock off the old Loctite, the factory Loctite. Well, I've got my tray right here. I'm gonna go ahead, put me some more Loctite on here. Again, use the blue, it's removable. You don't want to use the red, use the blue, all right? So there's that. Okay, so let's get over here to the bench, or to the bike, excuse me. We'll get these things put on. All right, so we're back over to the bike. We're going to do a quick wipe on all this to make sure all this is clean. It appears to be clean. As you can see, this is the transmission side here as mentioned earlier, so we're going to wipe all that. Now do note, there's no gasket material needed, no sealant, all right? So just use the gasket that it comes with. All right, so we're going to orientate that to the right direction. Put the gasket down, the cover down. Okay, remember those little spacers that I told you about. Let's go ahead and put those in those little holes. Be careful not to drop them. You can choose to put them on the bolt first if you want to. Solely up to you. This way I double check that they're all there. Okay, and we'll go with the center one. Not that it matters. Once you get a couple of these in, you'll know then that the gasket is also lined up as well. All 6 bolts are the exact same length, so you don't have to worry about mixing those up. At this point, we're just going to go tighten them. I'll just leave the camera running, but I'll speed it up so you can just see the process. I always will start with the middle one first, just to get the initial tightness started. I'll do a crisscross pattern. As always, if you've got multiple bolts, it's always nice to do it that way. Give that one a good snug. We're going to come next to this one and go ahead and use the Allen again here. This is such tight quarters, you can only get like a quarter of a turn right here. Maybe you had a little shorter. You could cut one of these down if you wanted to, but as I'll show you here. See the angle hit the cylinder of that little ratchet. So just a regular old Allen wrench is going to be your best. Again, if you've got a spare 3/16 that you could cut down, you could get a full swing on it, but then you can't get a good pull on it, good tight. So this one won't be that long. All right, so that one's good and snug. We'll set our Allen up here. We're going to go to this. Let's go to this back one over here. Okay. This little Allen ratchet, I don't even remember where I got it from, but it has a little finger wheel on the top that helps speed things along. So that one's good and snug. I'm not going to go full tight on everything, so I'm going to come over here to the front one. Good and snug. And then I'll come to this very front one over here and do it. And we're going to go back in the same order that we did and pull these down to what I remember. Again, I will have shown the suggested torque settings for, and I'll put them up here. That Harley-Davidson says torque this, but I don't know how in the world you can get a torque wrench to these back here, but you couldn't on this other one. So anyway, just a good snug down. Again, these are small bolts, so you don't have to wrench them. You don't want to take the chance of one breaking off. All right. Switch out. Okay, there's that. I'll go back to this one. And again, that Loctite's going to help hold that. As soon as that stuff cures, all right, we'll go back to this back corner. Okay, come here. And then this front one again. Okay, so those are done. All right, pull these out. Let's wipe this thing down. So that's it, guys. That's it installed. Now all we've got to do is determine where we want to mount our filter. I'm going to ask you, leave in the comments, do you like mounting the filter here, or do you like remote mounting it? So let's take the camera, let's go around to the other side, and we will get the hose hooked up, and I'll just show you how good that looks. All right, let's get over there. Okay, voila. The magic of video. We're now on the right side of the bike. So I have went ahead and removed this side cover, obviously. ABS motors here. This is where I'm putting the filter. This is a perfect spot for this filter. So what I'm going to do is I will go ahead and get a clamp on here. Okay, put one end of the barb in here. I'm going to tighten this up. Again, this filter is washable, just like your other type washable filters. All right, so that's that. Again, nice flexible piece of hose. I'm gonna go ahead and put this onto here. All right, put the clamp on, slide this up. Give this a good, again, as you can tell in my videos, I have some red themed things going on my bike, and I like to add little red clamps that can be seen. And again, this does not come in the kit with Nice CNC. However, you'll see me put it down on the cover. So there's a nice hole right there, okay? This will pull right through and sit right in here, okay? Again, this is not Nice CNC, does not come with the kit, disclosure here, but these are the ones that I like to use. It's got a built-in clamp in it. It'll go down on the nipple on that filter, all the way down. And now I'll go around to the other side and tighten that. That's with a Phillips. All right, so now that is attached. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but that looks pretty cool. That's up in here. I'll spin you around here in just a minute. But anyway, we're going to make sure that hose is nice and curved, not kinked in any way. This will sit just right here, okay? We're going to take and loosen our saddlebag. Okay, we'll put our side cover back on. Voila. All right, let's take a look at this and see what you think. All right, so there you go. There is the carbon fiber, dual layer carbon fiber, vented trans cover for your Milwaukee-Eights. I'm telling you, it don't get a whole lot better and nicer looking than that cover right there. We'll show you back up. There's a few other things on this bike that is Nice CNC. Obviously you can tell there is the oil catch can, Nice CNC, a transparent cam chest cover, Nice CNC, and a Nice CNC. This air filter has actually got a light inside of it, which is kind of cool. It really helps you so you can monitor. All right, you can look in your throttle body to see if you're actually getting any oil, but I don't get that now. I have a vented dipstick, a vented crankcase, and now an oil catch can is the last ditch measure just to monitor no oil getting in my air cleaner. So that's it. That is the carbon fiber installed. Well, there you go, folks. We've just installed the Nice CNC dual layer carbon fiber vented M8 transmission cover. That's a mouthful. Hey, look, if you have not checked out Nice CNC, please be sure to do so. I will put their website actually up here across the top of the screen. I will put links to the descriptions, the products I use and stuff like that from Nice CNC down in the description. I will ask that you, if you're interested in this stuff from Nice CNC, please hit the affiliate link down in the description. And when you go to that website, that helps me out just a fraction. And also be sure to use discount code MGR11. You'll get 11% off whatever you throw in your cart. So these items, I tell you, for these Milwaukee-Eight engines are a must. Thanks again for stopping by. And as always, if you haven't told somebody you love them, hugged them, told them you're thinking of them, be sure to do that. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and somebody might just need to hear that and feel that hug. So guys, until next time, I appreciate you stopping by. This is Eric with My Glide Rides, and be safe out there riding. All right, we'll see you later.